We are at Chattanooga. I got Joe Techmeyer here. We're gonna have some, got some noise in the background, but that's all right too. We're gonna be talking about, of course, Giga Texas. I'm Brian, welcome to Futuriza. There's a second tunnel going in, do we know when?
No, it's probably going to be coming sooner-ish than later. I expect it sometime in 2025. It would be serving the Model Y production, similar to the Cybertruck, but another way of getting it from the factory under the highway. I know that that's something that they want to do, but as far as an actual time, I do not know.
It doesn't seem like it would be a high priority, but I heard about it, and I think it really has more to do with testing than anything else, seeing what they can do.
Yeah, the Boring Company also, they've been developing their tunnel boring machines. They're up to the Proof-Rock 4. Proof-Rock 5 is nearly finished in their production facility over at Bastrop. They also have some other projects that the Proof-Rock 4 is being used for right now, and the Proof-Rock 3 that did the tunnel is over at Las Vegas, so it may just not be the right time.
They do have a lot of miles to cover in Nevada.
And also over at the UAE, because they just announced a big project that's going to be going over there.
I don't know when the groundbreaking on that would be.
Yeah.
So there's that new clearing. They're putting in a new building. We saw the footings going in last week.
Yeah.
What's going on there?
Well, it's called the Central Support Campus for Giga Texas. At least that's what the permits say. The permit says that there's going to be 3 buildings, 2 5-million-gallon tanks, and what I'm hearing, let's just say from people that would know that it's going to be Cortex 2.0. The reason why is that the space in the south, the extension that they built all that in, is not big enough for all of the Cortex that they want. So they're going to have a new facility, and as with Giga Texas, the permits are filed, and then the truth on the ground is that things are changing. If you look at all of those footings that they're putting in right now, it looks like they're making 1 giant building rather than 3. So definitely something that we are going to see as it develops, and hopefully we'll start seeing some vertical assembly pretty soon with the rate that they're going with the footings.
So the Switchyard is already pretty big. The capacity of the Switchyard is already pretty big, and it's getting bigger.
Yes, it is.
How much bigger?
Well, it's going to double in size. Originally, when they built the new one, they had 2 of the 3 transformers. They put the 3rd in recently. That's just not enough, so they're going to put 3 more and a complete, like a duplication or a mirror of what's there.
And that is an awful lot. So there are times when you're told not to shoot or asked not to shoot. What did you not shoot?
Well, one of the things was the crash test facility when they were doing a lot of the work on the Cybertrucks, just maybe a few months before they actually had the delivery event. There was some issues that they were trying to work out. They wanted to make sure that they got that done without NHTSA issues and just prying eyes. So they asked me to avoid the crash test facility for a while. On the flip side, there's been some times where they've asked me specifically to go look at some stuff. One time was the construction lights that they use at night around the areas. They were having some areas that weren't well lit. They were having some problems with the construction company that was supplying them. So they asked me to go film early in the morning those areas so they could use the video to show them, and it ended up working, and they got the lights.
That's actually a great use of your of everybody's time. And you're going to be there anyway. Maybe not at that hour, but sometimes. Do we have any idea what the run rate is on the new Model Y?
I do not know. They're in the process of not only ramping up, and they were producing the launch edition, but just recently they started production of the other editions. So I think that they're going to be doing the best they can to get that ramping as fast as possible. Based on just very anecdotal data, what I've just seen the last couple of flights, as I would not be surprised if they're at the 500 to 1,000 per day rate very, very soon. And I know that they want to really push that out as fast as possible. We are almost at the end of the first quarter, so that's not really the priority as much as it is building that supply chains, building up that inventory so they can hit the second quarter as strong as possible.
So how many times have you been inside Giga Texas?
Inside Giga Texas.
So you got Cyber Rodeo, you got a shareholder meeting or 2.
About 3 of them.
3 of them. The VIP tour last July.
Yes.
Is that it?
And a couple other times.
A couple other times. You've seen the whole building.
I've seen a lot of it.
It's hard to see 9 million square feet.
It is.
10 now.
Yeah, almost 11, depending on how you count it and which mezzanines that they've been adding in. it's not something that you can go in and spend an hour and see everything.
No.
And and the other thing I would just say is, if you go in and you see stuff and you come back 6 months later, a lot has changed.
A lot has changed. So that's anything in there that surprised you, that impressed you?
One of the things that I thought was really interesting is how the casting machine area has completely changed. Originally they were just going to be putting Giga presses in. They had some milling machines, and that was pretty much the plan. But then they added in a bunch of furnaces. They reconfigured all of the floors. They've changed where the presses are. They've been moving some of the milling machines out as different processes have been going in. They put in an entire new ventilation system, and now on the outside a filtration system, and that melt part of the factory as well. So I mean, it's just stunning how much that has changed. In addition to that, that area was built with the concrete structures, the concrete columns in the walls. Somewhere along the way, the concrete columns were deemed not structurally strong enough, so they had to take all of the bridge canes off, and then they had to put bands of steel around them to strengthen them enough to be able to have the bridge canes to hold the dies for the Giga presses.
That is wild. I did not know that. So who's the coolest person you've met at Tesla? Who's the most exciting one?
You mean besides Elon?
Besides Elon. I haven't met Elon. Have you met Elon?
Yes, I have.
Okay.
I went out at Starbase at Stargate
Oh,
facility.
that's right. Yep.
I don't know. I've met so many people. Omid is really cool. He goes back to the very beginning of building Giga Texas. He's one of the ones that was responsible for allowing us to do what we're doing. And, he's just an amazing person. Has been a trusted aide of Elon for a long time. Has been through a lot of trials and tribulations with Giga Texas, one of which is that whole famous glass house, which kind of affected Omid. And then now he's kind of moved up in Tesla world now. So it's really great to see.
Do we know what that was?
Yeah, the south end.
Yeah, it had to be.
Yeah.
And what I love, by the way, is there was a leak of a new Tesla vehicle that looked like someone built a greenhouse in their garage. And then someone realized, that's the Robovan.
Yeah.
It was like, oh my gosh, it is. That was the earliest prototype. Unbelievable. So in the far north field, they were using that. First of all, I don't know why they didn't build there. It was so flat and ready to go. But they were using it for storage.
Yes.
And they finally got some of that stuff starting moving out about a year ago. How much of that stuff you think is going to end up in the trash? And why was it stuck there?
Yeah, well, that's actually a great question, and it kind of goes to what we were talking about here at the Chattanooga Charge about kind of the agile way that they do things, and it can be somewhat chaotic. Not only the equipment up at that field, but also in the factory when I was visiting, you could see a lot of equipment that clearly is like excess, and it's just because they had a plan. They were ordering, they brought the stuff in, and they realized, well, we don't need that anymore. And a lot of that field has got some of that stuff, but they've been also changing stuff out too. So whether or not it's going off site to recycle or if it's being used in a different way, it's hard to say, but that site is never static, it's always changing. But soon they're going to have to change it anyway, because there is a permit from the city of Austin to put in the new Harold Green Road. It's going to go right through that field.
All the way through.
So, and then in that area, they're going to be building a test track for Giga Texas. So all that's going to be coming soon.
Ground floor of the parking structure has privacy fences. I thought that was for the Cybercab, but it turns out the Cybercabs were all made in Los Angeles originally. And then after 1010, I was just sure those fences would come down, and they have not.
They've actually added some.
What is on the ground floor of the parking garage?
Well, because they have fences, I can't go in and see for sure. But there's a lot of things coming up in the near future that Giga Texas is going to play a role with. Cybercabs, the robotaxi, the less expensive vehicle. It could be any or all of those. Also, they have some tents out by the superchargers. Maybe it's inductive charging. Maybe it's a lot of that. Maybe it's just testing. I don't know. But they clearly want to keep that spot out of eye's view.
I think they make a clear delineation when something is meant to be viewed.
Yes.
Because we've seen times when they'll put things on display for you.
Yes, like on the top of the parking garage. You have to go tomorrow and take a look because they made a Texas flag with red, white, and blue Model Ys.
All right, I'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah.
Right. The caissons, what are they for?
Well, the caissons, first of all, what are they? They're these large structures that are basically built with ring segments and sink literally into the ground, and then they excavate the dirt out, and then they continue to sink it till it gets to a depth. And then they connect them with a bunch of pipes. They use small tunnel boring machines to connect them all together. And it's part of a water intercept system. It's to help to dewater the entire site. Also, in some ways, it's to allow for future expansion, because in the permits themselves, they mention that the existing water management system and the water sewage system that they have is not sufficient to meet the expected expansion that's coming up. So this is supporting Giga Texas, but it's also extending down to the south, where they're putting in a new apartment complex and a lot more facilities down there.
Now, have you heard any rumors about those cabs we're seeing? Those aren't the original 20, are they?
Some of them are
New. Yeah. Okay. I mean, if there's more you can say, by all means do, but.
I would just say that they are building out a production line. It is not complete, but they are making a lot of progress with it. But, you can make vehicles without having a full-up production line.
Yeah, absolutely. And especially with the unbox method. Mm-hmm. Visitor center.
Yes.
They're building a visitor center? From
what I understand, the actual getting the permits, I'm still looking for them so I can validate that. But I have been told with pretty good sources that I trust that there is that welcome center. It's kind of moved around a little bit in where they thought it was going to be, but now it's going to be across the highway, by Tesla Road and that north bridge. And there is excavation work underway right in that spot where I was told. So I'm going to monitor that and find out more. And if I can get a permit that actually says it, that just makes it so much better.
That would make it better. Well, I've been saying for years, charge us whatever you want, but have one.
Yes.
Because we will go.
Yes, I think if they can have some sort of visitor/activity center that would be nice enough and big enough to have a bigger venue, and then also have access to the factory where everybody wants to go see anyway for tours, I think that would be ideal, because the current situation in that entranceway is just not sufficient.
It's not designed
right.
for it. Joe, thank you so much. You've been working at this so hard for so long, and you're such an asset to the community. I appreciate having you as part of it.
Thank you very much. You played a role with it too, because we kind of tag team a little bit when we're trying to figure out how much has Giga Texas been built today?
Yeah.
How much more is going to come, and how fast is it going to happen?
Yeah.
So I appreciate you as well, and it's been fun. Almost 5 years.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. It goes fast, and who knows? Maybe one of these product events I'll get into.
I hope so. If I can help make it happen, I will definitely do so.
I'm confident for the next one. I'm confident. I'm always confident, but this time I'm more confident. Hey, if they can release FSD, I can get into an event. So guys, in the comments, what did I miss? What did I misunderstand? What should I have asked Joe? That's what I want to know. And everybody else, like, subscribe, do what you do. And stay tuned, stay juicy. I cannot wait to hear from you clever robots, perhaps even at Giga Texas.